Two men sat in an office listening to news reports about elderly people in California losing electricity in their homes. They were laughing. One of them joked about an old woman he called Grandma Millie, how she'd lost everything and how she had it coming. They weren't watching a disaster on the news, they were watching their own work. Those blackouts weren't an accident. Traders at their company had been shutting down power plants on purpose, faking traffic on transmission lines, and shipping electricity out of California just to sell it back at 4 times the price. They gave the schemes names like they were video games: Death Star, Fat Boy, Get Shorty, Ricochet. The company was Enron. That same year, it was named the most innovative company in America for the 6th year in a row. 12 months later, it was gone. $74 billion, 20,000 jobs, retirement accounts that people spent 30 years filling. And one of the men who knew exactly how it all worked was found dead in his car 1 month before he was supposed to testify. This is the bust. Enron started as a pipeline company. Gas in the ground, gas through pipes. Boring, physical, real. By the late 90s, it had become something else. Enron didn't move gas anymore, it traded contracts on gas. Then electricity. Then internet bandwidth. Then, and this is not a joke, the weather. Wall Street was in love. Fortune magazine named it America's most innovative company 6 years straight. Its executives had the ear of presidents. The stock passed $90 a share. Business schools taught Enron as the future, and employees were told to put their retirement savings into Enron stock. Many of them put in everything. Why wouldn't they? This was the safest company in America. There was just one problem sitting underneath all of it. The profits weren't real. Here's the first thing Enron did, and technically, it was legal. Enron got permission to use something called mark-to-market accounting. Normally, a company books profit when money actually arrives. You sell something, cash comes in, you write it down. Mark-to-market let Enron skip the waiting. Sign a 20-year energy contract, estimate every dollar it might earn over those 20 years, and book all of it right now, today, this quarter. Not money it had, money it imagined it would get, decades from now. And here's what made it lethal. There was no market price for a custom 20-year energy deal. So, Enron built its own models, picked its own assumptions, and produced its own number. Which means when Enron needed a better quarter, it just had to feel more optimistic about the future. That's a machine where profit is whatever you say it is. And once you start booking money that hasn't arrived, you have to book more of it every single quarter forever just to stand. Imaginary profit doesn't pay bills. Enron was burning real cash on real projects, power plants, overseas ventures, a broadband business, and a lot of them were failing. So the company was drowning in debt at the exact moment it was announcing record profits. If that debt showed up on the balance sheet, it was over. Credit downgrade, stock collapse, and Enron's entire trading business ran on having good credit. So Andrew Fastow, the chief financial officer, built a way out. Hundreds of separate legal entities: Chuco, LJM, Raptor, on paper, independent companies. Enron would sell its failing assets and its debt into them, and just like that, the mess left the balance sheet. Except they weren't independent. They were funded by Enron, backed by Enron stock, and in some cases, run by Fastow himself, who personally made tens of millions of dollars off deals he was doing with his own employer. Enron was selling its garbage to itself and calling it revenue. The whole structure had one fatal dependency. It only held together as long as Enron stock kept going up. In 2000 and 2001, California went dark. Rolling blackouts hit homes, hospitals, and businesses. Electricity bills tripled. The state declared emergencies. People blamed deregulation. They blamed the weather. They blamed themselves for using too much air conditioning. It was Enron. Traders had figured out that California's new deregulated market could be gamed, and they gamed it relentlessly. They'd order power plants to shut down for fake maintenance to create shortages. They'd file fake transmission schedules to make the grid look congested and collect fees for relieving congestion that didn't exist. They'd export California's own electricity out of state, then sell it back in at a massive markup. And we know exactly how they talked about it, because it was recorded. They joked about stealing money from grandmothers. They laughed about people losing power. When one trader worried out loud about getting caught, another one laughed it off. California's crisis cost the state an estimated $40 to $45 billion. For Enron, it was a good quarter. It ended fast. In August 2001, CEO Jeff Skilling resigned suddenly after 6 months in the job, saying it was for personal reasons. That spooked people. Then a vice president named Sharon Watkins wrote a memo to Chairman Ken Lay warning that the company might implode in a wave of accounting scandals. She was right, almost to the word. In October, Enron announced a $618 million quarterly loss and quietly wiped over $1 billion off shareholder equity. The SEC opened an investigation. The credit agencies downgraded them, which triggered every one of Fastow's hidden structures at once, because they were all secretly propped up by Enron's stock and Enron's credit. The debt came flooding back onto the balance sheet. On the 2nd of December 2001, Enron filed for bankruptcy, at the time the largest in American history. Employees were escorted out with cardboard boxes. Their retirement accounts, the ones they'd been told to fill with Enron stock, were worthless. Executives had been quietly selling their own shares for months. And Arthur Andersen, one of the 5 biggest accounting firms on Earth, was caught shredding Enron documents by the ton. The firm was destroyed. 85,000 people worldwide lost their jobs at a company most of them had nothing to do with. Cliff Baxter was Enron's vice chairman. He'd argued internally against Fastow's structures. He'd left the company months before the collapse. In January 2002, he was found dead in his car from a gunshot wound. He was weeks away from testifying to Congress. Police ruled it a suicide. His family accepted the ruling. Others never did, and the theories have never fully gone away. What isn't in dispute is the timing. One of the few senior insiders willing to talk about how Enron actually worked died before he could say it. Andrew Fastow, the architect, cooperated with prosecutors and served about 5 years. Jeff Skilling was convicted on 19 counts and originally sentenced to 24 years. After appeals and a deal, he served 12 and walked out in 2019. Ken Lay was convicted on 10 counts and faced decades in prison. He died of a heart attack before sentencing, and because he died before he could appeal, a legal doctrine wiped his conviction off the record entirely. He passed away, legally, an innocent man. The employees got nothing close to what they lost. Retirement savings? Gone. The one thing the collapse did produce was Sarbanes-Oxley, a law that rewrote corporate accounting rules across the entire world and exists because of what happened. $74 billion, 20,000 jobs, a state held hostage, an accounting firm erased from the planet, and a recording of 2 men laughing about it. Subscribe, new case file every week. The Bust Files. The money always leaves a trail. We just follow it.